All right, this is a 2006 Honda CRV. It is my mother's car. It has a lot of mice. When you turn on the heat or AC, it just smells like mouse hell. And it seems pretty obvious. The entire cowl slash air intake is mouse condominium. There's signs of mice everywhere. So today we're gonna dig into that cowl. The first step is popping these caps and taking both wipers off individually. All right, these are 14 millimeter. They come off very easily. All right, you could just bend that at its little junction, and then it will wiggle right off. Other side, same thing, 14 mil. Loosen that. Get this off. Back to lifting this up, and then we just next I'm going to remove all this insulation. There's really no point to it, so it's the same thing. Little clips, get in there, pop that out. Don't drop the clip like I just did. Garbage. All right, next we're going to go for the whole cowl. What I can tell, it's these guys. There's 1, 2, 3. Take those off, see what happens. This is what those look like. Okay, now half of this pops up. This just pops off. And all right, no more pins to remove. This just kind of works its way out. Once you have that end free, you can work this end free. Now on the back side is the washer fluid line. I'm gonna actually leave that attached because I think once the other side's off, I can just lay it over and it won't matter. All right, this bigger side just pops off also. It's got these little clips, go right in there. 2 of them are actually several little guys. And then we should be able to wiggle this out of there. And let's do that. You'll just lay that out with the wiper fluid line still attached. So I thought this would be mouse nightmare already, but it looks like they can get down to the air cabin filter, which is also fucking filthy. So into the glove box. Definitely mice in the glove box. Everything's chewed up. So they have made it into the cabin. Shit everywhere. This is gonna be super fun. I'll be taking seats out, but first we'll get to the blower motor and the cabin air filter. So now the glove box has this one side. It's missing one on the other side. This has 2 little tabs. Squeeze those together. So here's what that looks like. Squeeze these together, pop it out, work this little arm off. Good to go. There's the blower motor. All right, the filter is right here. There's a little tab right there. Push that in. Slide this off. Expecting mice to fly out everywhere. These filters come out. This is that from the other side. Just took one out. Seems like you just slide the one over. Now I can pull that out. there's the blower motor underneath it. I don't know where these little shits are living, but it's not where I thought. Alright, we'll go ahead and get this glove box out of the way. One 8mm bolt. Two 8mm bolt. Glove box. Out. It's got a little bottom panel here. Just pops out. There's three T20 bolts and one wiring connection. T20 is a Torx 20-bit. It's this little guy. If you don't have a socket for this, you can usually find these with like deck screws, or this bit is very common. Once those are out, this just drops down. This looks very clean. Nothing too crazy. I'm not gonna unhook that yet. All right, I'm gonna pop these air vents out just to vacuum in there and see. Doesn't seem like I was right about them being in the ducts, but I'm gonna look anyway since we're this far. These just pop out. Super simple. And I'm gonna go in here to the, see what kind of madness is in there. All right, so I reinstalled the blower motor, and I want to just blow out these vents and see if anything's coming out. The feeling not much will be, because there doesn't seem to be mice in there like I thought. So, car goes on. Just gonna go through settings over here, blast it, see what happens. So right now we're on the floor. Nothing. Vents out here. Other vents, nothing too crazy. No defrost. So since we've come this far, they're clearly living under the floorboard. And when you get down in here by where the seat came out, there's definitely a lot going on down there. Figure since we're this far, we might as well keep going. So the seats will come out. This one's already out, but I'll show you how to do that. And then next will be the back seat. All right, removing the seats. This is the rear side, the back side of the passenger seat. This has this cover on it. You gotta pry that off. It's not just something you pry off. This side has this one. 14mm bolt, 14mm bolt. Alright, front seat same. Pry this off. The bolt right there. 12mm. 12mm. Last bolt over here. This piece comes off. Little pry tool, get under there. That's off. One last 14mm bolt, then the seat is gone. Best way to get these is to pinch these clips. All right, taking the driver's seat out, same thing. Right behind there, 14 millimeter. Pop this cover off, 14 millimeter down there. All right, there you go. Two bolts in the back, also 14. All right, once the bolts are out of the seat, there's 3 connections. This one. Pull that back. Not sure what I was pressing on this, but it wiggled it and it came out. This one has a tab on the back. Push on that, slide it out. Both seats I've had a little trouble with this bigger clip, but now I understand. So this rides on those, and it's gonna be kind of up there like that when you get a hold of it. You can pull the whole thing and slide it off, but now you have to unplug it, and to unplug it, this whole piece just kind of slides back and then it comes right out. So once again, front seats are out. We are proceeding with the theory that we're going to lift up this floor liner once I get the back seat out, and that's where a lot of the mice will have been living, question mark. This piece under here just pops off. It's got some clips on the back. This side door piece also pops up. Okay, so these are the covers for the back seat bolts. Just kind of lift up on that side, slide that, pops that off that way. There's that bolt. There's 4 of those. These, it seems the easiest to pop them off at the back and then slide them to the front. All 12 millimeters, not 14. So now once the back seat is folded down, fold it over. 2 more. If you're having trouble with these, I think I found the easiest way. I don't know if you just get up here, get them off the tops. They just pop right off. Pry the tops out, and then it comes right off that way. All right, 12 millimeter bolts. Seems like the seat might want to fall forward. We'll find out. All right, so 2 different size bolts. The longer ones go closest to the doors. The short ones are on the inside. Right. So all 4 seats out. Looks like the floor liner stops here, which is nice. And now hopefully it just starts to pull up. Clip here. Same thing on the other side. All right, the center console has to come out to get the floor liner out from behind it. So there's one of these type clips right here. There is a Phillips screw right here another Phillips screw right in there, and then another clip back there. And then you gotta come up here, remove that back panel. There's some screws behind that. One screw in the center. I have to get the center vents off. There are 2 screws under there, both Phillips. And this whole thing pulls out. Whole thing pulls out. Has one plug. Clip that. Done. Alright, if you wiggle this enough, it'll come out. Then you have one connection for the hazard light. Okay, once that is out, 2 more screws right there. Once those 2 screws are out, this also has 2 of these clips on each end. Very brittle and tough to get, so I broke one of them. And saying that it's easier if you have the emergency brake pulled out, but I still broke it. Anyway, now one electrical connection, and this will be out of the way. All right, 3 screws, 1, 2, 3, and they are right up there. So hopefully that is coming out when the, all right, the whole bottom panel now comes out. And one more electrical connection for the cigarette lighter. All right, now with the center console out, we can see around this liner. Maybe some Velcro stuff here and there. Maybe that was somebody else putting that on there, but this all seems like it's going to work itself out. This is pulling up, lots of mouse under there. I'm gonna just keep going. Holy moly. Oh, I got it up. Generations. Alright, I don't know if it can be this simple, but this little door that switches it from outside air coming into the cabin to recirculated air coming into the cabin, that's been chewed through. So if I was a mouse, I could just come in here, cruise along here, go there, they chewed through that, go above the cabin air filter, and then you're in. You're in above the filter, which is right there, and then you kind of just are into the glove box where that was obvious, and then you have yourself a whole CRV. So if that is the only point, I guess that's good. We can easily clear that up. I would have wanted to clean all this shit out anyway. Alright, I was starting the car the other day and heard scrambling around up in the headliner, so something's living up there. So somehow they're getting into the headliner. So we're gonna dig into these side panels. They just pop off. This wrapped around off this side, and the back. This must be what crystal meth is like. Final Frontier is the headliner. Everything else is clean, so might as well go forward. First thing is little covers on the visors. Pop off. T25 hex screw. If you have a T20 from earlier, that will work. They're not super tight. 2 of them. Visor comes right out. Same thing, driver's side. That pops off. Out of the way. Visor's out. Alright, these guys twist out. 2 of those. 2 Phillips screws up with the sunglass holder, and then I bet that whole light thing pops down. Wrong. Must be a screw behind this. This lens pops off. 2 more screws. 1 simple wiring connection. Push that tab, pull that out. That is gone. Alright, the oh shit handles. Tab pops down, Phillips. Tab pops down, Phillips. 4 of these. And on the center film light, there's 2 slots here. Right there's one. Right there's one. That lens out. Lens and mice debris. 2 more Phillips. Alright, side, the seatbelt doesn't need to come off. This plastic piece pops out from the top and pops out from the side. And then you can kind of just lower it down around the seatbelt. So this thing's about ready to come down. We're gonna pull the front of the hood headliner down and see what falls out. Lots of nesting up there. Yikes. Okay, removing the rear seat belts. This has just a little tab on top. Pop that up. This will come off. 14 millimeter. Same on the other side. And then we can get this panel off because it's kind of tucking the headliner in. Back of the car by the tailgate, by the back door. One light exactly the same as that light. All right, here it is. The whole thing pops out once everything's out. You do not need to worry about is this back seat belt. It stays up there. I'm not going to go farther than this. I'm going to vacuum this out and get it right back up where it goes, because whoever was here a couple days ago is gone. So the headliner is in. It was surprisingly easy. I propped the back up with my little tripod there. I started at the front, this lip here, started lining up these holes and inserting screws, bolts, pieces, etc. Oh shit handles were next. Basically pretty easy. This little, I don't know what you call it, a seal or molding. Yes, it all has to tuck behind that. So I found it pretty easy just to once you get it in place, just to kind of run along like that and make sure this rubber part is covering all edges of the headliner. One last thing. There's 3 connections here for baby seat. I made the mistake of taking those out, but just leave them. They come out with the headliner. They're not attached to the body in any way. Do yourself a favor and leave them. All right, now the floor liner is going back in, and I'm just gonna I folded it up, got it in. I'm gonna start with the very front by the pedals. Just kind of go under and around the center console and then work my way back. That's the passenger footwell. This Velcro kind of matches up with that. This just kind of all pushes under there. This must go up under there. All right, make sure the floor liner tucks under here. This is cut up to go around this part of the harness. Fit that behind there. And it kind of falls into place nicely. And on the driver's side, it tucks under the vent. There's a flap. Tucks under the vent. There's a flap. Goes around the back. Alright, these little clips are right here. They surprisingly just hold the floor mats in place, but remove them before you put the carpet back in. They twist, come straight out. There's another one right back there. So pop this out, twist this, out they come, and the carpet goes back in place. They go right next to the seat mounts, right back in there. Make it way easier. Everything else pretty much just fits right into place. It's pretty cool. These go down like that. 4 of them. One more over there maybe, but that's pretty much it. Super easy. Little seatbelt pieces just kind of fit right around. Seatbelt like that. The reassembly videos are going to be pretty short because it's just doing the things in reverse. Console's on once the floor's in, clip the 3 screws up there. One thing is there's some little tabs behind here. Make sure they're behind this piece. They tuck in. Everything fits together pretty good. Don't forget the oddball over here. And also all electrical connections. Cigarette lighter. This big guy goes in next. And then that. Hazard light connection. And then the trim piece around the vents and the radio. Console is back together. Looks brand new. Next we're going to run down trim piece around those handles, which is this guy. These tabs back here interlock with this side piece. I'll put the side piece in first, and then you got little slots. Little slot there, little slot down there. Working down the side, now this column. They're so easy, they just pop right on. You'll know when they're lined up, and then you'll know when your seat belt hole is lined up, and then we'll go in next. Next, rear door, driver's side. This last piece of trim. Clip under here, clip under here, clip under here. A couple tabs to fit in down there. Very easy. Starting the passenger side trim. Back there, looks like 2 of these clips stayed in. But that's just assembling, so they're gonna come out and go right in here and here. There, then the side piece, then the seatbelt piece, just like that seatbelt piece, and then this rear piece, just like that rear piece. Next, rear seat. The longer 12, the shorter 12. Get the mount covers. And a handy tip, don't tighten these down yet. Keep them a little loose because it's much easier to line up these bolts, the front bolts, with those loose and then tighten them all four together. And then the bolt covers, 4 of those. And don't forget these little guys. 1, 2. And before the front seats go in, at least the driver's seat, make sure you get the seat belt going. Give it a good crank too. It's important. Back of driver's seat, 1 bolt, 2 bolts, 14 millimeters. And don't forget these 3 under each seat. Front bolts seem easiest with the drill and a little extension. Last thing, slide the passenger seat forward. 14 millimeter, 2, 3, 4 seat bolt covers. This thing is back together. All went very quickly, surprisingly quickly, but it's like a new car. Now I gotta just keep mice out. To do that, I'm going to focus on the cabin air intake, which later models I found out have a filter there. These older ones do not have one. So I think, or I hope, and maybe somebody can tell me differently, if I've managed to cover that securely, I don't think there's a way in unless the door is left open, unless there's something through the floorboard or the firewall that I'm unaware of. So I think I'm going to go to the hardware store tonight and do my best. All right, this is pretty ridiculous. Looking for stuff to use. I found that a 6x9 speaker cover is pretty perfect because that hole was about 5.5 by 8. So there's extra room around, plus it's not anything I can't detach and use. So that is the, I don't know what you call that, the speaker grill frame. I did 2 little self-tappers to hold that. That one's a little ways out because it was getting askew and it wouldn't hold the grill. So this is gonna be my first attempt. We'll see how this goes. Speaker grill goes on, pops in. There's not much room around it. So that's attempt 1. Hopefully it works. I'll let you know.